And I did one of my tricks, you see, and I talked about time. I had this alarm clock, you know, and I said, you know, time is running out for everybody, and you've got to make sure you get your heart right with God before you die, otherwise, you know. All my talk, anyway, it went on. And I just put a black scarf over this clock, and I just held it up in my hand, and then I threw it up in the air, you see, and the clock disappeared. And everybody's waiting for it to come down. And I said, you know, there's a day when time is finished. It'll be gone. And I said, you need to have your heart. Of course, that was the message in those days. That's what I knew. So, of course, afterwards, one of the elders, I mean, he was a senior man. He brought another elder with him. He said, brother, I want to just tell you straight out, that is of the devil, what you did tonight. He said, that is, it's all this hokey-pokey stuff, you know. It's like this comes from Haiti. This is voodoo. I said, it's voodoo? Yes, he said, that's what it is. He said, it's from the devil himself. And you bring that into the church. He said, you should be ashamed of yourself. I said, I apologize, sir. I apologize. Do you want to have a look at the clock? So I gave him the clock. I said, there it is. I said, for your information, I said, nothing is quite what it looks like. And I said, the clock is still here. There's no voodoo in this. I didn't make it disappear. It's just that people were looking at the wrong thing at the wrong time. And I got rid of the clock without them knowing it. You see, these are the, I'm just telling you that, not to make fun of anybody. I'm telling you that because this is how our thinking goes, you see. And some people, of course, not everybody thinks that magic is voodoo, but there are some people that think so. So, what we're trying to say today is that Christ in you is writing his character into you. The truth is, according to Genesis 1:26, that God has put his likeness and his image in you. He didn't give you 10 commandments and say, this is what I want you to do. He has written that in your heart. The trouble is, we're not being led by our heart. We're being led by our head. And this natural carnal mind is an enemy of God. Therefore, it never will help you to be holy. Never. And of course, the problem is escalated because when we read the Bible, when we read the book, we have to use our mind. And of course, you know, this is the mind which Paul calls, it's the carnal mind. It's the mind that was affected by the serpent in the Garden of Eden. It's the mind that's been deceived. It's the mind that has believed the religious world, but not what God said. And isn't it tragic that here in this world today, in this modern age of technology where they've got the ability to fly a man up there and put him on the moon, they've got that kind of technology, but we do not understand what God is trying to tell us. So, today, God is saying to you, I want you to become an expression of what I am. And for that to happen, I am putting the Christ in you. It's Christ in you that is the hope of glory. Christ in you. And if you want to express the Christ, you will not do it until you are conscious that you have the Christ in you. So it says here then, when Moses went up on the mountain in Mount Sinai, he had 40 days, 40 nights up there. No food, no water, nothing but God. How would you go? How would you go? 40 days and 40 nights and you had nothing but God. Could you survive? Well, I've never done it. But the God that I know is quite capable of keeping me wherever, in whatever circumstance, you see. So, when he came down from the mountain, he'd been in the presence of God, and he had somehow absorbed into his being what God is, because God is light. And if you are in the presence of God for long enough, the light is going to be absorbed into your body. In fact, in Matthew chapter 6, he says there, if your eye be single, if your eye be single, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye be evil or dual, then your whole body will be filled with darkness. So in other words, if you're looking with this natural mind, with these natural eyes, you will only see darkness within. But if you are looking with the eyes of the Spirit, you will see your whole body filled with light. And not many Christians have really seen that. They've only seen their body filled with darkness. Why? Well, you see, we've got to wait, brother. You understand, you've got to die first, and then you're going to get that new body, put in the grave, then you're going to get a new body at the great resurrection, and then he's going to take you to heaven forever and ever and ever and ever. Wonderful. I don't think so. When Lazarus was in the tomb, Jesus Christ was having a little debate with Martha. And he said to her, Martha, don't you know that Lazarus will rise again? She said, of course, Lord. I mean, what, do you think I'm stupid? I mean, I've been to Sunday school. I know that there will be a great resurrection out there, and one day he will rise from the dead and then be caught up with everybody else. And Jesus just turned to her and said, one of the most amazing statements of the Bible. He said, Martha, I am the resurrection. Resurrection is not an event, it's a person. And that person already dwells in you. That's Christ. He said, I am the resurrection. If you have me dwelling in you, you have the resurrection. Come on.
Amen.
You see?
Yes.
You have the resurrection. In other words, the possibility of the transformation from a mortal human being to the man that walked out of that tomb that could live forever. He could be here, he could be there, he could be anywhere he needed to be. There was nothing that could touch him. Nothing. He walked through the walls, whatever. The transformation from the mortal human being to become the expression of the Christ is already in you. The power to do that, not just the power to do it, the authority to do it, is the fact that God has already put that Christ in you. That is your identity. Yes. That is who you are. Yes. We're not going to become Christ. We're not waiting for a resurrection out there in order to be changed, but Paul said, we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment. And the word moment is the Greek word atomos. So in the atoms of our body, there is going to be a change.